Thank you, Kurt. Here's what's happening in the region. Schools and workplaces in Venezuela have closed as an electricity blackout continues into a second day. The power cut, which started on Thursday afternoon, was caused by issues at a major hydroelectric plant. The BBC reported that the government of President Nicolas Maduro has blamed the opposition, accusing them of sabotage. It comes amid rising tensions over opposition efforts, backed by the U.S. and some Latin American countries, to remove Mr. Maduro from power. The lack of electricity has caused flights to be diverted from the main airport in Caracas, where thousands of workers were forced to walk home. The Barbados-based Caribbean Examination Council, CXC, says it will provide students across the region with e-certificates following a successful trial period. CXC, which was established in 1972, said while it would still be offering the traditional paper-based certificate, students who have registered unique and valid email addresses will now have the option to acquire their official certification through BlockCerts or blockchain-based credentials. CXC said the e-certificate would be immediately available to students on their electronic devices once the certificate is ready and available. Internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump has said he feels very bad for his ex-campaign manager, Paul Manafort, a day after he was sentenced to a prison term. The BBC reported that Mr. Trump erroneously told reporters the judge in the case had said there was no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. The 69-year-old Manafort was found guilty of tax and bank fraud by hiding $55 million from U.S. tax authorities. At a federal court in Virginia, he was sentenced to 47 months in prison and told to pay $24 million in restitution and a $50,000 fine. Tens of thousands of people are marching in the Algerian capital in the latest protests against the president. The demonstrations, now in their third week, were triggered by the ailing president's decision to seek re-election for a fifth term in April. According to the BBC, the president has ruled Algeria for 20 years, but has rarely been seen in public since he had a stroke in 2013. He has warned that the protests could plunge the country into chaos. In a letter published by Algeria's official news agency on Thursday, the 82-year-old leader urged vigilance against domestic and foreign forces that might infiltrate the demonstrations. But he also praised the demonstrators for peacefully expressing their opinions. Finland's entire government has resigned over its failure to achieve a key policy goal on social welfare and healthcare reform. The Prime Minister said he was hugely disappointed in the outcome. Finland's executive welfare systems are under financial pressure as the nation's population ages, yet reform plans remain politically controversial. According to the BBC, the government is expected to stay on in a caretaker capacity until a planned election in April. Some political opponents question the need for the high-profile resignation of the Centre Party government within just a week to go until the election. And that brings us to the end of regional and international headlines. Back to you, Kurt.